Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rucha Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is basically various topics dated March 19th, 2025, the hopeful year of our deliverance and the destruction and judgment of Esau. And I pretty much just listening to a few videos. And the main thing I kind of wanted to go into is pretty much how these devils are trying to say that, you know, every once in a while you got some new BS that comes up. And they're saying that the Hebrew language at the Tower of Babel was pretty much, watered down, I guess, for lack of better words. And that's not true. But I was also watching another video just now before I got started with Elder Apostle Gabar. And the other one was Elder Yashawamba dealing with the name Jesus and when it came about. And the letter J came about in 1524 by John Chicino. And I made a statement yesterday in the video that the name Jesus, they said it came around 1632, 1634. And I said that's not true. It came because the letter J didn't come about to 1524. Well, the letter J didn't come about to 1524, but the name Jesus started to be used in 1632, 34, around there. So that part is true. So I just wanted to make mention of that because the brother, the young elder, Gabar Howard from the Hawaii camp, put that up on the comment board because he was doing some research on it. And the elder Yashawamba, I believe it was yesterday, he sent me some info on it, that name started to be used, in 1632, but the letter J itself goes all the way to 1524. But what I wanted to speak about first before we get started is Elder Apostle Gabar was doing the video, and the name of his video is called, which I got through basically a little more than half of it. It's called "The Scriptures Say We All Speak the Same." I'm sorry. The scriptures say we all speak the same thing, not all wear the same thing. Marketing ploy. And in this lesson, he was saying how the Lord gave us his name, which he did. And we believe that through faith from our elders from One West. And I started to think about how when the Lord was delivering the nation of Israel out of Egypt, he did all these great works and miracles and gave Moses his name so that when all was said and done in the deliverance and all these great miracles happened, his name could be magnified. They said that's why he hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that his name could be magnified. Now you have these individuals from the IUIC, which are adamantly against the names of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai in the Hebrew. They call him, Most High and Christ bless. Most High is just a title. Christ is just a title. But if you're going to say that, you should say Mashiach, Most High Mashiach bless. And they'll say that, no, we don't have the names, but we're going to get the names in the kingdom of heaven. So what benefit would there be to doing all of these great works and all these different miracles that are coming? Bring out all of these prophecies, build this whole thing up, and then destroy America, Babylon the Great, and take the rulership of these heathen nations in a name that's going to be done away with, or a name that we don't have. And then in the kingdom of heaven, we'll get a name. All these great works that happen, what name were these great works done in? World War III, Armageddon, the destruction of America, Babylon the Great, all of the prophecies being played out on the planet Earth. Whose name is that being given credit to? It don't make sense that we have to wait to the kingdom of heaven to magnify a name, where what name is being used to magnify these works that are being done on the earth today and that are about to be done on the earth today, because the MOTB is quickly on its way. It's right here already. It's just a thing of getting the world micro-C-hipped. So what name are we giving credit to or credence to and reverence to for all of these different works that are going on and playing out in the planet Earth. Hmm? And I was meditating on that as I was listening to the Elder Apostle Gabar's video. Now, the video that Elder Yashawamba was doing, it gave me the idea for this lesson because these devils try to say that, the during the time of the Tower of Babel, the Hebrew language, and I'm just from what I can remember him saying, the Hebrew language is pretty much watered down, and that's not the case. When we go to Genesis, right? We go all the way back to the book of Genesis, the 10th chapter, which the so-called scholars or scholars, whatever you want to call them, call this the Table of Nations, because through this chapter here in Genesis 10, we get the original names of all nations on the planet Earth. Now, there were names of nations that are not mentioned in Genesis 10, but the nations that are not mentioned in Genesis 10 were descended from one of these people here in this chapter. All right. So Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The chosen line came through Shem, because it gives you the sons of Japheth first, then it gives you the sons of Ham, and then we come down to the 21st verse, it gives you the sons of Shem. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber. Now, Shem, I believe he was the grandfather of Eber. All right, he was not the actual father of Eber. But this name, Eber, would play a very important role in the keeping of the name of the language that we spoke and that we speak. Now, we don't speak the Hebrew fluently today. We call it the Lashon Kodash. The so-called, the small hats call it Loshen Kodesh, which goes back to Lashon Kodash, which means holy tongue. So this name here is very important in the language because this is where the name of the language was kept. Let me get this other precept for the moment. Excuse me. When we go to Genesis 10:21, to Shem, the father of all the children of Eber. When you go to the Hebrew word, Eber, for those of you that don't know, Eber comes from the Hebrew word Ibar, which basically means past, from the past. Now, it could be used as to pass over or to cross over, but it could also be used as past tense because the name of the language, Hebrew, basically means past tense or from the past because this is the language that we kept from the past. As you have Ibar here, which is Hebrew or Eber, and then you have Ibar Ya, which would be like a Hebrite. Okay. Eber or Heber, the region beyond, which really goes back to, well, you could use that, the region beyond, because they said that, that these Hebrews that we see here, they came from beyond the Euphrates, from Babylon, Iraq, Ur of the Chaldeans in that area. All right. Let's see. I know there is something around here. Eber. Let's see. Compare Hebrews. Grandson, father Peleg, especially refers to Joktan, Peleg. Now, I'm not sure if it's in here or when you go to the Ben Yehudi Hebrew, English, Hebrew dictionary, where it mentions past, P-A-S-T, from the past. I believe it's in there. I'm not sure if it's in the blue letter. Let's see. Region be used first, use other side. Usage over quarters to the side. Formation, verse, plural, suffix. Beyond, side, opposite. Just bear with me 1 second. Cross stream, beyond. Language, which is the Babylonic activity. The opposite region. Between. Now I do have the I just keep saying the opposite region has to, and see Eber, the ancestor of the race of the Hebrews. Observation, Hebrews difference. All right, let me see something. Just bear with me 1 second. I thought I had. Let me check here. Anti-Progate, Jazz. Yeah, I thought I had it here. The Ben Yehudi. Thought I had it saved because they actually have the book online where you could actually um view the Hebrew and the English equivalent of it. But I thought I had saved it in here somewhere. Okay. Thought I had saved it, but I guess I didn't. Let me try something. If you're a scoffer, I hate to disappoint you guys, bro. But this is going to be a boring lesson to you. So you can move on to something else that may pique your interest. All right, cool. Here we go. I thought I saved this. Let me see something. Let's see. What do we got? What do we got? Oh, no, that's why. Because it doesn't really give you. Yeah, they took it off. I think you got to buy it now. Trash. Yeah, I think you got to buy it now. They used to be able to go to it online and get, and actually go to the actual words. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Here we go. Let's try this one. Save that. Okay. All right. What's that? The H. Let me try here. Oh, you know what? Let me go to it's P. What do we got here? Okay, we're getting closer now. Okay. R. Next page. See the thing about this fucking thing, it skips pages. So that's page 120. And see, this is page 118. So there's a page here that you can't see. Yeah, can't see it, damn it. All right, but if you look the word past up, it'll take you to the word Eber or Eber. All right, well, that sucks. Nevertheless, let's go back here. So You got the name Eber, which means from the past. This is where the language was kept, and the language was kept pure through the sons of the Most High. Eber, Shem, Eber, and that line that you see in the book of Genesis, the 11th chapter, that is the line of the chosen, or the line of the sons of the Most High. When you go back to Genesis, the 5th chapter, all right. Then when you read on down through here in the book of Genesis 10, actually in the book of Genesis 11, it goes into the line of the first of the chosen of the patriarchs, which was Abraham. His name was Abram first, Abaram, which means father exalted. Then later on, his name was changed to Abraham or Abraham, father of a multitude. Because he would become, a father of many Israelites all over the planet. That's really what the blessing was about. It was from Abraham to Isaac down to Jacob. That's why there was a chosen line. That's why you had the sons of God or the sons of the Most High, and you had a chosen line which went through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, that's it. That's the cutoff. Nothing more, nothing less. So unto Shem also, the father of the children of Eber, which he was Eber was his grandson, the brother of Japheth the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem, Elam and Asher and Arphaxad and Lud and Aram. So these are the 5 sons that came out of Shem, and the chosen line of these 5 went through Arphaxad. Okay, it says, and the children of Aram, Uz and Hol and Gether and Mash and Arphaxad begot Salah, and Salah begot Eber. So actually, Eber was a great grandson of Shem, because Arphaxad was his son, Salah was his grandson, and Eber was his great grandson. All right. And unto Eber were born 2 sons. The name of the one Peleg. Now the name Peleg goes back to the Hebrew palag, which means division or divide, because when he was born, this was around the time when the division, of the earth was about to happen. So it says, for in his days was the earth divided. Now, how was the earth divided? Well, the earth was divided into nations. Even though you had the children of God or the children of the Most High, which later became known as the Israelites, you had the children of men, which were the other nations, and you had the children of the wicked, which were, back then, they were known as the seed of Cain. Later on, back before the flood, they were known as the seed of Cain. During this time, they would come through the line of Isaac's son Esau, whose name was later changed to Edom, which would be the Edomites. So there were 3 classifications of men, but they weren't yet divided into everybody was not yet divided into nations. That didn't come to pass till this time here during the Tower of Babel. Now, when we go to, hope y'all keeping up, hope y'all understand, hope I'm not losing anybody. Deuteronomy 32, right? And 8, it says, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance. So the Lord gave the nations their different portions of land when he separated the sons of Adam. So if everybody was created equal, why would the Most High have to separate the sons of Adam, which all people on the planet Earth come from? Well, the reason why is because the Lord had a chosen line that he was going to separate from all of those different nations. And he chose Abraham, who was the first father of the promise, to give him the blueprint of what the Heavenly Father was going to do, and that in his line, the chosen people would come through. He said he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel, right? Because he gave all nations their land. We were the last nation to receive a portion of land. But the portion of land that the Lord gave to us and to our forefathers was greater than any of those other nations. And the Canaanites were just keeping it warm for us. All right. Now, real quick, I'm going to show you something, then we'll come back to all of this. From the beginning, the land of Israel, which was known as the land of Canaan, was already promised to our forefathers. During the curse that Noah put on his grandson Canaan, all right, because of what Ham had did when he looked at his father's nakedness and mocked his father's nakedness. Job 9:22 and Noah 9:24, and Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him, which is Ham. And he said, "Cursed be Canaan." Now Ham did the crime, but Canaan got the curse. Why did Canaan get the curse? Because the land that these Canaanites would be inhabiting would eventually later be given to the Israelites. A servant shall it be unto his brethren. See, so he was cursed. Now let's go to Genesis chapter 15. And let's scroll down to the vision that, is it 15? Yep. The vision that Abram seen. All right. Genesis 15:7. And he said unto him, I am the Lord Yahweh that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees. Now, Ur of the Chaldees would be south of the Euphrates River. It would be like on the Euphrates River, but south, heading towards what they call the Persian Gulf today. All right. Of the Chaldees. That's where Abram's father, and because what you have to understand is what they call the cradle of civilization. Let me see. Let me type in Mesopotamia. Map. Let's go to images. Hopefully, let me see this one. Here we go. Hopefully this is a good one. Nice. All right, cool. It doesn't have, okay, it has written Mesopotamia here. Okay, this is the Red Sea. All right, this is the Sinai Peninsula. This is the land of Israel here. This is Saudi Arabia, and it's pointing to the birthplace of Abraham, which is Abram at first. This is the Chaldees right here. You have the Euphrates River that dumps into the Persian Gulf. You have the Tigris River that dumps into the Persian Gulf. They both meet right here. Then you have, this is Sumer. You had, the Sumer Empire, right? Then you had this region, all of this region here was known as Mesopotamia. It was also known as the plain of Shinar. And pretty much this is what they call the cradle of civilization. Let's see what comes up when we put in cradle of civilization. What is meant by the cradle of civilization? Let's see what comes up. A cradle of civilization is a location and culture where civilization was created independent of other civilizations in other locations. The term refers to the geographical regions where the earliest known human civilization emerged. There was no single cradle, but several civilizations that developed independently, including the Fertile Crescent, ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, ancient India, and ancient China, the formation of urban settlement cities. So it all came from this region here, what they call the Fertile Crescent. Now, the Fertile Crescent is what the so-called scholars call this. Another name you could say would be the Levant, which would be this region. So they're giving you this whole focus from the Persian Gulf. All of this, what you see in green, is because this is the richest lands on the planet. And the Garden of Eden was located in this region down here. What would be known as the land of Canaan, which will later be known as the land of Israel. This is the most fruitful, lands that there are. And the blessing of the inheritance of the land would be from this region here, somewhere around in here, all the way to the Euphrates River in this area. Right? This is the promised land. This is what the Lord promised Abraham that he would give to his seed. And he happened to be in this land before all of that. All right. So going back to Genesis 15, to give thee this land to inherit. So pretty much this was when Abram was in the land of Canaan, and he told him that he would give him that land. It says, and he said, Lord power, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? It says, and he said unto him, take me a heifer of 3 years old and a she goat. Let me just jump down to the 12th verse. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. So the Lord had him in a trance. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, which is what? The land of Egypt, or in the Bible is known as Mitzrayim, inside joke, as Mizraim or Matazarium. Okay, we're going to leave that check. Going to come back up here, right? You have in Genesis 10 and 6, and the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim, and Put and Canaan. So now the so-called Egyptians came out of Mizraim, which is Matazarium. Let's go there real quick. Mizraim, as you can see there, Matazar Yum. Okay. This is where the Egyptians came from. And this is the land that the Lord said that our forefathers would be strangers in. Okay. So let's go back. And let me just bring it back down here. Okay. Back to Genesis. Okay. It says, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And this was in the land of Egypt, ancient Egypt. This has nothing to do with America. America plays no part in this, because America, this prophecy was fulfilled the day when the Lord brought the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. Let's go real quick to Exodus chapter 12 and verse 40. And you should be taking notes. Those of you that are new should be writing this down. Exodus 12 and 40. Apostle Gabar always says that. You should be taking notes, writing these notes down. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. Now these 30 years was when Joseph was there, and he was still alive, and and the Pharaoh knew who he was, so he showed favor to him. After that 30 years, when he died, and the new Pharaoh came up that didn't know who he was, that's when the children of Israel started to be. When you go back to Exodus, the first chapter, they started to be oppressed by the Egyptians, and that was at 400 year. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the selfsame day, it came to pass that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. So this is when this Genesis 15 and 13 was accomplished, after the affliction of the 400 years. 30 years prior to that, that's when Joseph was alive. And when you read throughout the Old Testament, in the law, it speaks about Egypt being the furnace of affliction. All right, that's where our forefathers caught hell at, and eventually were delivered from there. So back in Genesis 15:14, and also that nation, the Egyptians, whom they shall serve, will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. When the Israelites that are a part of the elect are taken out of America, there's not going to be any substance going with them. The only thing that they're going to have in their possession is that body going up. And that body's not going to make it to the chariot because it's going to be changed in the twinkling of an eye on the way up to the chariot. So this is not talking about America. And if you notice, right, people are still talking about the year 2000 thing. Well, you said year 2000, the end of the world was coming, blah, 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 this, that, the other. But all of these other Israelite groups that were teaching about that 400-year prophecy that was supposed to be fulfilled in 2019, you don't hear a peep out of any of these motherfuckers talking about that. Well, what about the year 2019? Well, you said the 400 years of this prophecy was fulfilled. You don't hear nobody asking them about that. That shit just got swept under the rug. Just like the whole thing about, that Barack Obama is an antichrist and an anti-type. Nobody talks about that. Nobody brings that up. We're the only ones that bring it up. Nobody talks about these individuals that said these false prophecies, and didn't come to pass, but they'll write us on things that happened way back then, which was a part of the doctrine back then. And we already explained that. And if it had not been for us to put the videos up, you wouldn't even know nothing about it. We're the ones that put those videos up. You didn't find those videos and put them up. We put them up. Because we weren't trying to hide nothing. Bunch of fucking hypocrites. That's what you motherfuckers are. A bunch of goddamn hypocrites. But it's okay. Because I ain't mad. It says, and thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation, they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites, which are Canaanites, is not yet full. So they had to still do a bunch of wickedness before the Lord would judge them and kick them out of that land. That's why, when you go back to the law, the Lord said that when the Lord give you this land, and you beat these nations and kill them and take their land, make sure that you don't do after their abominations, because for this purpose or this reason, I'm kicking them out. And guess what Jake did? They did the same exact thing the Lord told them not to do. And that's why eventually we got kicked out of that land. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. In the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. So as we saw in this is the river of Egypt, the Nile River here. From this area here, all the way up to the Euphrates River. All this land belongs to us, all this fertile land. Now you have the desert down here. This belongs to Ishmael. The Lord gave Ishmael this land, so-called Saudi Arabia. But this nice green fertile land here all belong to us. So from the beginning, it was already given to us to receive that land. All right. And then it goes on to speak about them different, Canaanite tribes that were inhabiting that land. All right. So let's go back to Genesis chapter 10. Oh, wait a minute. We already touched on Genesis chapter 9:24. So that matter of fact, let me go back to that. Genesis 9:24. And Noah woke from his wine and knew what his youngest son had done unto him. Genesis 9:24, verse 25 now. And he said, cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And that's how we were able to get that land from the Canaanites. All right. It says, and he said, blessed be the Lord, power of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. See? So let's go back to Genesis 10:25. And unto Eber, or the Hebrew, were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, Palag, division. For in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. And it gives you the rest of the line going through the chosen line. And then when you go to the 11th chapter, it gives you the line from, Shem to Arphaxad all the way down to Abram. All right. And in verse 32, it says, these are the families of the sons of Noah after their generations in their nations, and by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. So all peoples on the planet Earth come from either Shem, Ham, or Japheth. Shem had 5 sons, and those 5 sons had sons and sons and sons, so on and so forth. So any nation that comes out of those 5 children are all Shemites. So I don't know what the hell these devils are talking about anti-Sem for, acting like they're the only Sem. They are Shemites, but they are not the Shemitic Hebrew Israelites. They are Shemitic Hebrew Edomites. See, that's what they don't tell the world. Yeah, you are Shemites, but you're not the Shemitic Hebrew Israelites. That's the difference. But they'll use that term, they'll use that term. They'll push that button in a minute. They'll talk about Jake using the race card, but they use that race card any chance they get. They could stump their toe walking down the street and they'll pull that card out. All right, so let's go from there. Let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 14. Right? And verse 13. And there came one that had escaped and told Abram, which is Abraham's name before it was changed to Abraham, the what? The Hebrew. Now we have the word there, Hebrew, instead of Eber. When we go to the word Hebrew, it brings us to the word Ibaryah, which means Hebrew or Hebrite. Okay? Then you have here an Eberite, an example Hebrew, or descendant of Eber. And this is where the language kept its name. Designation. Used to distinguish Israel from foreigners. And I wish I could find that one where it says past, but you could look it up. If you have, they don't cost that much, the Hebrew, the Ben Yehudi Hebrew English Hebrew dictionaries, and you could look it up for yourself. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here, but they ain't really going into. Bro, the origin of the name derived from the Mercedes, however, originally appreciated that stranger of the side. Our nations themselves foreigners, yeah, I'm sure if I look hard enough, I'm sure I'll be able to find it, but I think it's just taking me back to, yep. All right, so he was known as Abram the Hebrew, and this is where the Hebrew language was kept through Eber. That's why he was called Eber, to keep that language. So when we go to Genesis 11, right, this is when the language was confounded, but the Hebrew language itself was kept through that line of the sons of God, or the sons of the Most High, which later became Israelites, through the name of Eber, or Ibar. Genesis 11:1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. What language was that? The Hebrew language. The pure language of the earth is the Hebrew. Inside joke. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and dwelt there. And they dwelt there. Now the land of Shinar, which I showed you, let's see if we can see. It's going to be right in the same area of Mesopotamia and what they call the cradle of civilization. Let me see images. What's this? Okay, we don't need this anymore. Let's go back here. Got images. Let's see if this will see what this one does. Nope, it ain't saying nothing. See, and this is what some of you guys refuse to do. I'll wait for the elders and the apostles and the elders to do it. No, I just watch their video. Bunch of lazy Judas bumble goats. Nah, that's too much work, man. Y'all got that. I'll just sit back and watch. I'll take notes. Land of Shinar right here. So these are the plains of Shinar. Did I put land? Okay, I put land of Shinar. Let me put in plains. Plain of Shinar. Let me try that. Let me type in plain of Shinar. See what comes up. Images. Might give me the same stuff. Yeah. Now here we go. The land of Shinar. There we go. Let me get rid of this. There we go. See? The land of Shinar. So this is where the cradle of civilization started. This is where all nations, gathered and repopulated the earth. Because it doesn't really say it on here. This is Haran, Padanaram. This is Syria in this area. And you have Armenia up here, Mount Ararat. Now it says, when you read the scriptures, it said that Noah's, his ark landed in the mountains, plural, of Ararat. So one of those mountains up there, his that ark landed. When you go back and you read it, I believe there might be Genesis, the 8th chapter, if I'm not mistaken, or the 7th chapter. It says the mountains of Ararat. All right. Let me see. Mountains. Genesis 8 and 4, right here. Genesis 8 and 4. It says, and the ark rested in the 7th month on the 17th day of the month upon the mountains of Ararat. So one of those mountain regions was where the ark landed. Okay. And then from that point on, which was up here in this area, this is where, then coming down south, this is where the nations started to, to repopulate the whole earth. And that's why this is known as the cradle of civilization. You have Sumer, they call the Sumer, the Babylonians, the Egyptians, You have Elam there, which are the Persians, so on and so forth. All right. Let's get rid of all of this. Where we at? Okay, that's that on that. So let's go back to Genesis 11 and 2. So that's where they landed. It says, and they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone and slime had they for mortar. And they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach up unto heaven. And let us make us a name. That's where you get the term Tower of Babel. Lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, and which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. But the language of the Hebrew, or the Hebrew language, or the Paleo Hebrew, or the Lashon Kodash, was kept. through Eber. That's why it was called Eber or Hebrew. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city, right? Because they didn't understand each other's speech. But the ones that were of the elect or of the line of the sons of God, they kept that original language. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, which the word Babel or Babel means confusion, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And right, so the language of all the earth was confounded because no longer is it one language anymore. There are many languages now. But the original language was kept through the line of the sons of the Most High. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. All right. So that line, and that's why today, we are going to get that language back. That's why I don't get this whole fighting against the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and the ancient Paleo Hebrew, where that comes from, because if the Most High is doing all these great works that he's doing and is about to destroy this place, what name is he going to have up there that's going to get credit for this destruction, for these great works? It don't make sense that you do all these great works and then later on, in the kingdom of heaven, then you reveal a new name. When we have a name that the Lord gave us, Yahweh, which is his name, and Yahushua, which is his son's name. And yes, we can tell through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And we believe those are the names by faith. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.